If you've spent any amount of time on Instagram, you've probably heard of Daily Harvest. They're another one of these meal delivery services that have gotten really popular, especially during the pandemic. I believe they're all vegan, so that's pretty cool. What you may not have heard about is the recent recall. They recalled one of their products, these lentil crumbles. It's supposed to be like a meat alternative. I think it's supposed to be like a topping that you put on top of other food, obviously. And they recalled the product after receiving several reports from customers saying they got sick after consuming it. Some people getting severely sick, actually being hospitalized, some saying they had to have their gallbladders removed, severe liver damage, things of that nature. So this has been going on for the last 9 days or so. As far as we know, it seems like the first report about this, what really got this kind of started about 9 days ago on Reddit. Someone posted about it and then it blew up from there. Lots of people saying, yes, they had the same experience, or they never thought that it could have been the crumbles, that sort of thing. Before I go into kind of my thoughts on this and my thoughts on the response to this and the response from Daily Harvest and the response to Daily Harvest response, I just want to be clear that I'm not a Daily Harvest customer. I have no intention of ever becoming a customer of theirs. I've done several reviews on this channel of these types of services, either the meal kits or the meal delivery services. You're paying $10 to $12 a meal. I would like to see more variety in the mock meats. With the current price, no way in hell will I order from there again. It's a lot. It's just a lot of plastic. I'm not a big fan personally, especially someone with kids. Most of them are not very kid friendly. Daily Harvest looks like not very kid friendly. And any company that sells oatmeal, it just makes me want to punch something. Maybe that's not fair, but like charging $7 for something that takes 5 minutes to make and costs like pennies, $1 maybe at most. Like, no. It doesn't even have hemp seeds or anything. $7. Oh, it's organic, I guess. Get fucked. So I just want to say this to make it clear that I'm not coming at this as like a fan of Daily Harvest. So the general consensus, at least reading comments on Instagram, on Twitter, on Reddit, is that Daily Harvest is just evil. They're slimy, they're greedy, they have been totally negligent in their response to this. They have not acted quickly enough. So again, it looks like the first like public account of this was that post on Reddit from 9 days ago, Wednesday, June 15th. Daily Harvest posted this. This was their original update on June 19th, where they acknowledge the possible link and they tell people to throw away the crumbles, not to eat them. Maybe they received a bunch of reports before this. I don't know. But to me, 4 days, like 4 days seems like they're taking it pretty seriously. Now, the original post, the original post on Instagram linking to this update, maybe not the best. I don't know what they or the intern, whoever they pay to do their Instagram posts, not sure what they were thinking. Hey guys, so one of our products may be damaging customers' organs. Anyway, you want to try this other crumble that we have that's like totally safe? Like what? Just maybe not the best look, you know, maybe a little bit tone deaf. Yeah, unsurprisingly, they deleted that post and then replaced it with this one on the 22nd. But yeah, 4 days I think is pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what people expect. I'm not sure what people have in mind. You know, is it like as soon as anyone says anything negative about a product, recall it, cancel it? So the FDA should just recall like every vaccine, right? Even though study after study after study finds them to be exceptionally safe and have no, you know, connection to autism or whatever. But hey, all these people said, so, you know. Not trying to diminish the experience that these customers have had, not trying to say that there's no connection at all. My whole point with this ultimately is that I have no idea. None of us have any idea at this point. But just because someone or multiple someones say that a product or a food caused an illness, it doesn't mean they're right. No matter what they went through, no matter what traumatic experience, and it sounds like some of these people really did experience something traumatic, being in the hospital for multiple days, worrying about their health, worrying about organs being removed. I mean, it's terrible. It doesn't mean that it was caused by the lentil crumbles. Coincidences happen. Autism is diagnosed right around the time kids get the MMR vaccine, for example. Now, unlike vaccines and autisms, there are actually plausible ways in which these crumbles could cause what these customers are experiencing. There are various toxins that can cause liver damage, gallbladder damage. Raw lentils themselves are toxic, which is why the company is asking people when they contact them, hey, did you make sure you cooked them as the packaging says? People see this as like them trying to shift the blame to the consumer. I mean, maybe, or maybe they're trying to figure out what's going on. And if there's a possibility that eating these uncooked is contributing, maybe you ask that question. Maybe it's important to find the source of the problem. I mean, I think it's unlikely with uncooked. I mean, how much would you have to eat to become that sick? It seems like a lot. And again, this is more of a topping type thing. But yeah, still, you should probably ask that question, right? Like, leave no stone unturned. I always think of that cake. I don't know what magazine it was in, like some kind of cooking magazine years and years ago. And instead of putting like an eighth of a teaspoon or a quarter of a teaspoon of nutmeg, ground nutmeg, they said whole nutmegs, like several whole nutmegs, which if you don't know, can make you very, very sick. Now, of course, most people seeing this and trying to make the recipe went, that doesn't sound right. I'm not doing that. But there were at least a few people who didn't know, probably maybe had never used nutmeg in their life, had no idea, and actually put 4 whole nutmegs in the recipe and got sick. Okay, so it was actually a Swedish magazine. 4 people were poisoned after following a faulty recipe from a Swedish food magazine. And it wasn't 4 whole nutmegs, it was actually 20. So it was supposed to call for 2 pinches of nutmeg. It said 20 nutmeg nuts were needed. And we know that 4 adults ate 1 cake made from this recipe and they didn't feel well. Dizziness and headaches, but we're now feeling better, so that's good. They did realize that there was a problem. Before this, they sent out letters to 50,000 subscribers, all their subscribers. They even put a leaflet inside of the copy saying, hey, don't eat that much nutmeg. At first, we thought this would be enough because we didn't really think anyone would bake or eat this cake since so much nutmeg would give it a horrible, bitter taste, and because it is simply not that easy to get hold of that much nutmeg. Once it became clear that people had been poisoned by the cake, the magazine immediately decided to recall all its store copies. Point is, you ask every single question you can possibly think of, even if it seems totally implausible, because I think Daily Harvest wants to find out what's going on, And also Daily Harvest said that the toxicology testing that they've had done, that they've contracted out for, has come back negative, at least so far. So again, it makes sense that they would try to look at every angle possible. And apparently even experts are very confused by this. According to the New York Times, nutritionists and health experts are flummoxed since liver damage from food is rare. Toxins that are found in wild mushrooms can cause acute liver poisoning, but beyond that, foods typically don't raise enzyme levels. This is very unusual, which is why it's so important to figure out what's going on. This past spring, organic strawberries were linked to an outbreak of hepatitis A, a virus that may cause liver disease. And of course, we know Daily Harvest is all about organic ingredients. It's unlikely that eating lentils would cause the kind of liver damage people are reporting after eating the Daily Harvest product. I'd look at what else they were stored in, what else was used to make up that concoction. So out of the 28,000 units of the product, this is from April 28th to June 17th, they have received 470 reports of illness or adverse reactions. So it wouldn't surprise me if it turns out the crumbles, the lentils, or something else in the product is contaminated, or just the product itself. But it also wouldn't surprise me if nothing comes of this, if their testing, the FDA testing, is negative or inconclusive. So this sucks. I mean, regardless of the outcome, whether it's the lentils or something else, it's horrible. If it's the lentils, well, it could be originating at the farm, wherever they're getting these lentils from, which means that other products and other consumers beyond Daily Harvest could be affected as well. That would be terrible. If it's not the lentils, well, then all of these people who have had this experience now have other things to worry about, other potential contaminants in their environment. In terms of Daily Harvest and their response specifically, I think they've handled things pretty well. They publicly acknowledged the link. They recalled the product. This is a voluntary recall, which people were even questioning that, like saying it was tacky to call it a voluntary. That's literally what it's called when you're not required by the government, by the FDA, to recall a product. It's called a voluntary recall. Like, God, do we have to see malice in everything, every possible thing. But yeah, they've recalled the product long before the FDA would ever come to any sort of conclusion and actually tell them to, if they thought they needed to. I mean, as we all know, it takes the FDA fucking forever to do anything, especially if it's something really important. Then you really want to shuffle your feet. But yeah, they say they're working with the FDA. People have commented that the FDA has actually come to collect Crumbles for them, so it's very clear the FDA is involved. They've contracted out Daily Harvest. They've contracted out for their own testing. They have refunded people. No, they have not offered to pay for anyone's medical bills, to my knowledge, because seriously, like, of course they haven't. What? It's terrible what people are going through, but again, it's not clear at all at this point that the Crumbles are to blame. And even if it is something in the Crumbles, the lentils, whatever, that doesn't mean that it's due to Daily Harvest negligence. Again, this could be coming from the farm they're buying from. It will be interesting to see if this leads to new regulations regarding these companies, these daily meal service things, and also just meal delivery in general, because again, we have seen such a rise given the pandemic. And the FDA has been concerned about this for a while now. Yeah, I don't know, maybe something like this will spur them into some sort of action. Who knows? And if you have consumed these Crumbles and you've had some sort of reaction that you think could have been caused by eating them, please make sure to contact Daily Harvest. They've got their email and a phone number and a website here in the most recent post. Also make sure to contact the FDA. Now, I think Daily Harvest is still saying to throw away the product, which makes sense. They don't want anyone to eat any more of it or accidentally eat it or something. You know, kids get into it. Who knows? Anything could happen. But again, I've read reports of people saying the FDA told them to hang on to it and they actually went to their house and got a sample. So I don't know if they're going to want more samples or not, but if it were me and I still had the product, I would probably hang on to it until contacting the FDA and seeing what they wanted me to do with it, or at least, you know, jotting down the batch number, lot number, that sort of stuff, if you still have it. So yeah, that's it. I mean, I guess it's just human nature to jump on the bandwagon, and because all these people who are so angry, I mean, a lot of them have had no negative experience. They're just, you gotta blame someone, and who do you blame? The company, of course, and they just have no. I mean, I read some comment from someone saying, I think it was on Reddit, that like, who cares about the science? Like, who cares about waiting for the conclusion? Like, what's actually causing this, or if the lentils or whatever else is in this product actually cause these illnesses? They don't care. Like, people are hurt, and so pay their medical bills. What? I mean, this is why VAERS is so effective for people and keeps people from getting their kids vaccinated. Like, just reports of something possibly maybe having happened is enough for people. And it's just, no, we do science for a reason, to try to figure out if a correlation is actually a causation or if it's just coincidence. Another example besides vaccines is this drug Bendectine. It used to be sold in the US back in the 50s through the early 80s. It's a combination of just vitamin B6 and doxylamine, which is the active ingredient in Unisom, the sleep tablets. It was used to combat nausea during pregnancy until a bunch of lawsuits were launched against the company claiming all sorts of issues: limb and other musculoskeletal deformities, facial and brain damage, defects of the respiratory, gastrointestinal, cardiovascular, and genital urinary systems, blood disorders, and cancer. The star witness was later found to have falsified research on teratogenic effects of the drug and was struck off the medical register in Australia. Shocking. Point is, the combination of doxylamine and B6 is like one of the safest things you can take during pregnancy. There's been extensive research on these, which is not surprising. Unisom is very common during pregnancy, and when you're not pregnant, I take Unisom at night often because it helps me sleep somewhat. Not so much anymore. It's too late for me. Things are just too bad right now. I've got like 2 weeks left, and there's just, no, I'm waking up like 15 times a night. It's just gonna happen. But yeah, Unisom's very common. B6, B vitamins in general, very common, either in a multi or in a separate little B complex, very common during pregnancy. So unsurprising that these things would be safe separate or together. But because of the correlation and because of the public outcry and because of these lawsuits, the company voluntarily removed the product in 1983. Again, not saying that's what's going to happen with Daily Harvest. It would not surprise me at all if these lentils were contaminated, especially given the reports are all so similar, what people are experiencing. It's, abdominally focused, gallbladder, liver, that sort of thing. Although so many could be a stretch. Again, I'm talking about the public ones I've seen on like Reddit and TikTok. The 470 reports that Daily Harvest says, they don't say that it's all similar symptoms. They just say illness, adverse events. So it could be a fair number of gallbladder, liver, stuff like that. And then it could be who knows what else, something that like couldn't possibly be related to the crumbles. But still, we don't know. And why would you, I don't know, like people are just saying, yes, it's Daily Harvest and yes, it's the lentils. It's just very, I don't know. It's very childish. It just makes me very uncomfortable that people want to blame someone so bad and we can't just take a step back and go, this is an awful situation. Let's let the people who know what they're doing do what they know how to do and figure out what's going on before we just throw everyone under the bus and demand that a company pays everyone's medical bills. What's wrong with you? Or, oh my God, encourage people to get mycotoxin panels. I saw that on Reddit. Don't do that. That is quackery. That is a total scam. It's a urine test for mycotoxins. Usually it's recommended, well, it's usually recommended to everyone because you could have toxic mold in your house that's making you all sorts of sick. Basically any illness could be caused by toxic mold. I believe I talked about this. Was it the raw alignment toxic mold stuff? I'm pretty sure I talked about that. But yeah, there's no meaning to these tests because number one, everyone has some amount of toxic mold in their urine. And number two, we don't know the amount that would be, or any amount that would be like super detrimental. We have no idea. There's lots of other reasons as well, just how these tests are done. Of course, with something like this, you're going to see people come out with the quackery and the interesting recommendations for people who might really be sick. And it's very frustrating. I'm sure that person's trying to be helpful, but Jesus Christ. But I'm really interested, and I mean this, I'm actually going to read the comments. I'm really interested in what you guys have to say about this, your thoughts on the whole thing and the response. And anyone who's actually involved in like food safety and testing and whatnot, or pathogens, toxins, any of that sort of stuff, I would love to know. Maybe someone working for the FDA. Wouldn't that be amazing? Just watching my videos. That would be so awesome. I don't know why, but yeah, anyone involved in anything, even tangentially related to what's going on with Daily Harvest, I would love to know your thoughts on this and just like how long things take as well. Like how long does a lot of this testing take? I'm sure it's several days. I'm sure it's not like in the movies or oh my God, I'm watching this show called Helix from 2013, I think. I'm on the second season. Just reminded me of that because there's lots of, CDC scientists, the virus and the testing. And it's so bad. I don't even know why I'm watching the second season. It's just a terrible show. Anyway, I would love to hear just anyone's comments on this and what you think about the response from Daily Harvest in particular. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe. That's cool. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I upload. You can support the channel, patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. Thank you so much to my patrons over there. I don't know how many more videos I'm going to have over the next few weeks. Again, I'm like a couple weeks away from my due date at this point, and it's hard to do anything. Pretty much anything. I think I've put out like 2 videos this month. Eesh. So yeah, it might be a while. I'll try to do, well, I did record a what I ate today, so you can expect that in a few days, depending on when I can get it uploaded. But other than that, I don't know. We'll see how things go. But thank you so much again for watching. New video soon. And then, of course, after the 2 weeks, I'm going to have a brand new baby with my 2 other kids as well. So I make it sound like after the 2 weeks, that's it. And everything's back to normal. And I'll be pumping out 8 to 10 videos or whatever every month. But no, it might be a little while. It really depends on how the baby sleeps. We've really lucked out with our other 2 kids being pretty good sleepers. And we did the dream feeding thing. If you're not familiar with dream feeding, highly recommend you look into it. And Tracy Hogg, she's the one who coined the term several years ago at this point. Check out her book. I forgot what it's called. But I think that did at least possibly help us with getting our kids, once they were about 2 months old or so, on a more consistent sleeping schedule at night. And it just makes such a difference. Anyway, I'm done. Thanks again. New video, hopefully soon.